Hello, friends. Hi, family. And people that maybe we don't know each other so well, maybe never met. Hi, I'm so glad to have you. I hope you've joined me and will stay for a little while. My talks are meant to be like a time to get a cup of tea and sit and let things slow down. And so I do that on purpose. I don't do any editing to make it faster and better so that it feels more organic and like we're actually getting together. And I feel like a lot of us don't have that kind of time in our lives. Everything is rushed. And so even if you watch this while you're unloading the dishwasher or folding clothes, I hope that you enjoy a restful time. Okay, hello. Let's see, I wanted to make one comment, just a reminder that when you go to this YouTube channel to enjoy time with me, on the screen, the home screen, I'm pretty sure this is on whether you're on a device, a phone, maybe an iPad, I don't know. But on my laptop and on my phone, on the top, there are some tabs to click on. And one, it usually opens to the home page on my channel, my home page, but it only shows a few videos to click on. But if you go to the next tab and it says videos, you click there and it will show all the videos that I've done. I think I just saw there were 72. So I've been doing them for a few years. So you might go back and see a topic that you're interested in. My titles are not so great, but yeah, they're kind of general, sorry. But if you want to know more about the scleroderma and cancer journey that I've been through, you could go back. Okay, so that's that. I wanted to just visit. I have some pretty big news, really big news. See, I think I titled my last one A New Life, because things were changing and they only sped up in that direction. Since I last talked with y'all, I got sick for the first time. My new immune system, as far as I could tell, it's certainly facing different germs and things, and for 9 months, I never got sick. I was, of course, quarantined for several months, but I got sick, and it was like, oh my gosh, I think I have a rusty nose, a runny nose, and a scratchy throat. Wow, this is weird, and this is interesting, a little bit scary. And so I took a COVID test because I needed to know if I had COVID and wanted to call my oncologist and see what I should do. And so I took a COVID test and I had COVID. So I called my doctor and they said, as long as you don't run a fever, a high fever, or have shortness of breath, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just drink lots of fluids and rest, like they would tell anybody. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, thank goodness. I did not want to go to an ER. Of course, it was over the weekend. And I want to say what a sweet thing God did to take care of Craig and me. I had a friend, a dear friend, who had been planning for some months to come visit me. And sadly for her, I started feeling the scratchy throat Friday night when she had gotten here around, I can't remember, 5 o'clock on Friday night. So luckily, she is an amazing woman and so filled with courage, a spirit of courage. Um, she, I really truly believe she didn't panic like, oh no, I'm gonna get COVID. She was supposed to go visit her grandchildren and kids. And so, anyway, my friend Catherine, she was here with Craig and me, and we basically just watched a ton of Olympics because it was just getting started. And Craig and I, it's like having her there, we were happily distracted, and we didn't have the chance for our minds just to go crazy, with fear about my first illness. Instead, it just felt like I felt such a peace about it. Like, well, God is allowing me to, I just felt like nothing's going to really happen. But every now and then I'd go, oh, what if it is? And that's kind of going to be my journey. But nothing happened. I fared well. I had, kind of a medium case, and I got through it. And so the next thing I had, which is still related, I just saw my fingernails. Shout out to my first fingernails since I got scleroderma. Well, actually second. Hannah gave me red fingernails once about a year and a half ago. But isn't that kind of pretty? Don't look at this one. They're stick-ons. Okay, so then it was time for me to have a PET scan, like 2 weeks after I had COVID. Pardon. Grab my iced tea. And so, okay, focus. I had a PET scan, and it was like, I think 4 months after my last one. So they're still checking pretty often at this point. And Craig and I went to see Dr. John the next week for my results. And they were clear. Of course, I wouldn't be acting so happy here. I hope you're having some tea with me. Or coffee. Matcha. Everybody drinks matcha. I don't think I like it. Anyway, but I told Dr. John, because I had spoken with another doctor when who was on call when I had the COVID. So Dr. John didn't know. And I told him, well, guess what? I had COVID. And he ended up telling me, well, you know what? Your quarantine is over. I mean, it's basically what he said. Oh my gosh. He just said, obviously your immune system handled it. That means your immune system, you're doing well, you're fine. And my numbers were looking really good too. There's still one that they want to come up a little bit, but so y'all, Craig and I left there, and we were like, this is really the biggest chapter change we've had yet. And so let's see, what did I do? Where did I go? Oh, I went to a chapel service at Laterno this week, which had 200 and more people. And I just went like everybody else did. I'm just like everybody else. I just feel so grateful. I just feel so grateful. Craig too, he feels so grateful. So let's see. I don't have to have another scan for 5 to 6 months. I think he did 5 months. So and he said, I don't need to come get blood work done in the meantime. And I was getting these monthly infusions, a medicine that would protect my lungs in case I got sick. But he said, just do one more. And so I went yesterday and had my last one. So I don't have to go to the cancer infusion room that just reminds me of everything. I mean, it just all comes back, and it makes me feel like I'm still in treatment. And I'm not in treatment anymore. That's just a medicine. But it makes me feel that way. And so I don't have to do that anymore. I hardly have to go there. I am going to go in October just to have an appointment with my transplant specialist, Dr. Vance. Remember that name? I just need to see him. I was supposed to see him 9 months after the 1 month visit post-transplant. So that'll be kind of okay, here we are again with Dr. Vance. It's going to be a remembrance. So that will be that. And then, chupa. So, yay, Jamie. Oh my gosh. I know y'all have a huge part in this, which is so amazing that God worked it out that we can actually contribute to something that's so organically inside a body. Y'all had a part in what God did in my body and is still doing in my body. And I feel, again, just like, each one of you had your hand carrying the weight of our mat to Jesus. Thank you. Thank you so much. So please keep praying for my body to be healthy and recover. I'm still recovering. Slow and incremental change. I feel a little different, probably than I did 5 months ago. And that's a good way to look at it. I feel less tired as often. I'm still getting these flare-ups with my stomach, and would appreciate prayer for that. I just would love for God to just help me with that, because on the days where it's oh gosh, I don't feel like eating, it's very distracting. It's very burdening. It drags me down. I know those of you who have chronic pain or chronic stomach issues, you understand, it just threatens to steal away your sense of reality that life is okay. Life is good. Life is beautiful. Sometimes it's not beautiful, and the beauty will come in the future. But sometimes it actually is okay, and there's beauty to be seen. But there's a threat you feel when you have that chronic pain or that chronic nausea. I mean, your stomach being weird is just weird. And oh man, what else? What other chronic things are there? Chronic insomnia, up all night with anxiety, because when you're up at night, it's an anxious time. Stuff like that. I'm sorry if any of you have that, and I would be happy to pray for you. But right now, I just ask God to bless you and strengthen you in those times, and to heal you too. Okay. Now I have more to share. Okay. 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 I have two other main categories, okay? One is a visit to Baton Rouge and things that happen there, and the other is my emotional and mental journey, okay? So I went to Baton Rouge last week. Was it last week? Yeah, this is kind of the end of this week. Yes, last week. And I was there from Monday to Friday, and that felt long. We usually don't get to stay that long. It might have just been one extra day, but it felt wonderful. And because I'm in my new phase, I stayed with Mom, but I got to go to Jill's house and see Jill and Kenny, and I got to see my Aunt Cynthia and Uncle Wayne, who came to Mom's house, and my nanny Aunt Rena, who came to Mom's house, and I mean, it was the first time I had seen my aunts and uncles since everything, and they have prayed for me so much, and so our reunion was just glorious. It felt like a reunion in heaven. It was huge. It was just seeing them, just knowing how much they carried me and loved me, and for them to see me standing before them looking like a normal, healthy person, just, I know God must have been there also. Obviously he was, but I'm sure he was there also, delighting. I mean, like, we were just, me and Aunt Cynthia and Uncle Wayne were in a huddle, jumping up and down, and just and crying, and Nanny, Aunt Rena, we were a little more sedate and more just like, and but I can just see God, like, yes, this is what I have done. This is what I've done. And I've done it for you guys. I've done it for you, my children, my beloved, my friends. He calls us his friends. And yeah, and also being like sober too, like with Nanny, like, oh yes. These are things that are so profound on earth that when I bring the kingdom, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So it means so much to remember God, even if it's backwards. I don't know if I was thinking about God in the moment. I can't remember. But anyway, okay, so let's see. So it was the week. Oh, okay, wait. And I also got to see my niece Colette. She and I haven't seen each other in almost 3 years, and that's craziness because we used to see each other a whole lot. When she went to college, she went near us, and we used to live down the street from each other when she was little. And anyway, I got to reunite with her, and she was there without her little children because she had a small surgery, and we got to spend like time 3 days in a row. These things are fantastic. Oh my gosh. Okay. So anyway, it was my dad's birthday last week too. So my sister Jill and I got to go and celebrate Dad by going just out to this beautiful restaurant at lunch one day. And I mean, one day, the day of Dad's birthday. And Mom was off out of town with her sisters. They were loving on her, and it was one of her sister's birthdays also. And so they were celebrating her sister too, and that was helping Mom not just feel, the weight of it just being about Dad. So it was a good day. We all celebrated. We all honored Dad. He never, ever wanted any of us to focus on his birthday. So we kind of, followed his desires by not making a big deal out of it. But we definitely remembered him, and it just, it's like we're beginning to be able to live on. And so I know I've told y'all that in the last video too. So Mom and I went out to Mike Anderson's, this great, amazing restaurant that's been in Baton Rouge forever. And we were just going to pick it up and go home. But we were like, what the heck? Why are we doing that? We're going. We might as well go in there and sit. And we didn't feel like getting dressed up, but we didn't. So we just said, let's just go as we are. And we went in there, and they seated us in the bar, or they said, you can go in there if you want to, because, you're going to have to wait a while. And we went and we found a table, and, there were LSU things up and around, which is really fun for me to see when I'm in town, because I don't live in a place where they put LSU stuff up and around. And they were playing, nice music, upbeat kind of music. And there were sports on a couple of TVs, and it was just festive. And, Mom she hasn't had that many festive times. She didn't want to be festive. She's been just missing her honey, her companion of 60, shoot, I thought I had this straight, 64 or 65 years of marriage. But she felt like it. I mean, it just kind of happened. We sat down and we had listened to some Cajun music on the way over. That got us really excited. It's accordions and it's upbeat, and we know how to do a Cajun jitterbug to it. And we've danced together so many times. We were like picturing us in the car dancing. And when we got to the restaurant, we just talked about things that were going well. And we talked about Dad here and there, and it was just so good, so great. I hope that's not too much information about my goings on. Y'all, I just feel like, I hope it helped, you're interested. I hope you're interested, because you knew me when Craig and I were just in a house by ourselves for hours and days and weeks upon end. So anyway, okay, bloop, 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 bloop. Okay, so that is Baton Rouge. That's my Baton Rouge story. It was wonderful to be there. I love Baton Rouge. It's a great city. Y'all should visit sometime. Okay, now, a couple of days ago, so I'm shifting and have my last thing, okay? A couple of days ago, Craig, it was a few, 3 or 4. Craig said, Jamie, it was right after I'd gotten back home here to Longview. And he said, did you realize that yesterday was the day you started your treatment in Dallas from last year. And I was just like, oh, no. I had been feeling like you can't help but like go, oh my gosh, this was the July when I was just every day, it was so hot and I could hardly move around because I was so weak and I couldn't go outside except for until 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd try to get up so I could be outside for about 30 minutes and I'd sit in that chair. And then what was I gonna do the rest of the day? Waiting and waiting on these people to get my transplant ready. Oh my God. And then August came. And so these are the things I was kind of barely let myself think about, but that we would have flashbacks to, oh my gosh, remember last year, at this time. Well, and then all of a sudden it was, oh my gosh, we were in Dallas last year at this time. And it just freaked us out. I don't know. It gave us the shivers. Like, okay, oh my gosh, it's time to remember the time in Dallas. Ugh. So anyway, it was kind of difficult. I will say it was difficult. But we oh well, yeah, I think we hugged and just said, okay, well, let's do whatever we were doing, Okay, let's keep making breakfast, or let's not talk about it anymore. So we, oh man, just saying the word Medical City. Ugh. That was the hospital where we had all our days spent. Anyway, I have had, I can't remember if I told you this last time, that I've had a couple of times of processing. Where's my computer? I don't know when it was, so I'll just tell it again in case. But I had a time where I sat down and I let myself, or kind of made myself, like, okay, let's go there. What can you think about? And I thought about one of the hardest things of the whole year and a half, which was when I was in the hospital and Dad was dying. And I don't know, that's just what came to me. And I did it in a kind of a safe way, I realized later, not a real emotional way. I just did it sort of in a mathematical way, okay, well, let me think about that. And I went into the hospital on a Tuesday and started chemo. And Friday was when I heard from Lisa that Dad suddenly took a turn and was going downhill really fast. And I didn't want to believe that he was possibly dying while I now was trapped in the hospital. But I didn't do the emotional part. I just okay. And then he died on Tuesday of the next week. And then we did the funeral arrangements, and I was on FaceTime for a lot of that. And then, so on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we did the funeral arrangements. And then on Saturday, we did the funeral, and Craig and I were on FaceTime. And then Sunday, everybody kind of got together one more time and then they dispersed. So, and I counted it up, how many days that was of just absolute suffering and not being there. It was Friday. No, did I say that? Yes, Lisa said Dad's going downhill. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, his funeral, and then Sunday, everybody together again. So it's 10 days. And I let myself work that out in my mind. And I wrote it down in my computer. And that was it. So I've had a couple of catharses. Catharses? Is that what it is? Anyway, and where I just totally felt feelings twice. I think just twice since I've been home for 10 months. Twice? That's it? Oh my gosh. I've had other cryings here and there, but those were huge, like letting myself really feel. And just, I ended up just saying to God in those times, is it going to be okay? Is it going to be okay? Am I going to be okay? Am I going to be okay? Just feeling so lost. So for the last, that probably the second time I did that might have been, I'm thinking 4 months ago. I haven't been feeling that deep questioning. I have felt more of a deepening peace. Let me take a deeper breath. Hang on. You want to do it with me? There's a Mrs. Cardinal in the tree. Hello, Mrs. Cardinal. I have just been staying open to God in the best ways that I can, and finding Him reassuring me. And I still am like, but I hated that time. I hated that time, and it was so long. It was so long. But it seems okay. I'm kind of okay. There's Mr. Cardinal. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Cardinal came to visit to say, God is with you. It's all gonna be okay. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, let's see. Wait. Oh, do you see that wheel thing? Do you see Mr. Cardinal on the wheel? Am I showing it? I have no idea. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, he's down at the bottom now. Let's see. Oh, you can't see him. I can't see him in the phone, at least. Y'all, okay. Another big thing. Okay, God is giving me His peace. But this tree, do you see this massive tree? Do you see the breakage on the side there? We had a huge storm, and that big, huge side piece of the tree fell down on the chain link fence there. And we didn't even hear it or anything, but I came in this room and there it was that night. And I think we're gonna have to take the whole tree out. And it's been such a grounding force here in my creative room. I call it my art room, I call it my writing room. And you know, I just, my sunroom, maybe it's gonna actually become a sunroom without a tree. I have this view that is like not the greatest ever. It's the wall of a person's house, and there's a lot of just overgrown vines and stuff. And so I don't mind. This part's more green over there. And so sorry, I hope y'all interested. I think, well, maybe it'll let more sunshine in, but I'm gonna miss that tree. He's so weird and he's so cute and he's so big and he's like a piece of art out there. I can't let myself get overly upset. Trees break my heart. And I can't let my heart be broken over another tree. We keep losing trees on this property. This one right in my creative room. So I'm gonna just see what God is gonna do. Maybe I'm gonna plant all sorts of beautiful special vines or something. Y'all tell me what to do with my fence. It's actually the neighbor's fence, but anyway, so I just want to say, back to my progress with my healing of my heart and my soul and my mind. I feel hopeful. I feel hopeful, and I feel my mind rests a lot. It can still have the humming kind of anxiety, but not a lot of times I don't have it, which is amazing. And then sometimes it's just low level. And we're in counseling, we've been working on going back to other parts of my life where I had some, more low level trauma to teach me what to do, how to, we're learning those parts of myself and how to have the strong part of myself speak to that scared part of myself, and where I can then have self-regulation. So, and one day we're going to start, I guess we're going to start with scleroderma, the months of darkness, and we'll go through those, and it'll be good because I need to go back to them because they are just kind of haunting me. I need to go back and bring Jesus there and bring my true self that's in communion with Jesus and comfort the part of me that was so scared, so terrified. So that's kind of where we are. And so here's a story, okay, to end. Crap. It's 40 minutes, y'all. I'm sorry. I try never to go past. I'm always like, oh my gosh, this thing is 40 minutes. I know that y'all have said, don't worry about the time, I'll just break it up and watch it in a future or whatever, but I have to tell you about this. I went to a social event and just never expected this to come up, but I was just talking with a friend, and they had been through a really, really difficult and scary cancer journey too, and are kind of further out than I am. way further out. But they recently took a literal journey and went back to MD Anderson and went to all the places of the trauma. And even, so I don't want to share too many details in case, but he gave me courage, and I just, I was able to listen to all of it, and we were very like, okay, he was like, are you okay? Hearing all this, and okay, yeah, I think so. But I would breathe, and it's just hearing about it was so hard, and thinking, oh my gosh, I cannot begin to imagine, and I can't even say it, going back to Medical City, to those hallways. Oh God. Okay. It's just like, but having him be such a calming presence, and seeing his courage, and just being so grateful to God for giving him that, and giving him, like, inviting him to those places, and God going with him. I felt so grateful to God that he's so good. And so, but it gave me hope from my own walk forward. So that's my last story, y'all. I love y'all. I think that's it. Let's let's toast to our lives and what God is doing, even when it's slow, even when it's confusing, even when it's dark. He has not abandoned us or forsaken us. So much more than that. He is caring for us and dressing us like he dresses the flowers in beauty. How much more does he love us? And the birds, how much more does he care for us? He never walks away from us. He never looks away from us. So I love you all. Thank you so much for being with me in this life. I so appreciate you joining me in my videos. And pretty soon I am going to get up a Substack, and I'm going to start doing some writing. And so I will let you know more about that, and I hope you'll visit me there too. That would be super fun. I will write about different things than I do in my videos. That's the hope. We will see. Pray for me. I really need prayer for my writing and my writing journey. I love y'all. You're the best of friends. You're the best of supporters. I'm your supporter too. We're all in this together. One last thing. Speaking of we're all in this together, what's on this side? Well, there's more. Okay, this is from Curt Thompson. I know a lot of you have read his books and listened to his podcast called something. Just look up Curt Thompson with a C-U-R-T. But he said, we need, okay, I'm reading this. We need other people in the room to imagine things for me and with me, and to keep on imagining until I move in that direction. The whole group needs me to do my hard thing so they can also do their hard thing. So we're dependent on each other, guys. And I so appreciate you being there for me. And I hope that through these videos, you have the mutual dependence on me. So, love you. Bye.